All right, everybody, and welcome into the Maestro's Classic ARCA series here at Las Vegas. My name is James Riles, and with me in the booth is Tanner. Now, Tanner, how's it going today, buddy?
I'm doing excellent there, James, here at Las Vegas. A beautiful scenery behind us here. I'm ready to get this thing rolling.
Oh, it should be a good one here as we are about to get started here at Las Vegas, but we do have some race information to go over with you. We're at the beautiful 1.5 mile Speedway of Las Vegas in Nevada. 65 degrees in the ambient temperature, about 70 degrees on the track. They let it cool down. Beautiful day in Vegas.
Yeah, hardly any wind here. Not going to play a factor coming off turns 2 and 4. Hopefully these cars stick here with 70-degree temperature. They'll lay down rubber and hopefully create multiple groove racing here at Las Vegas mile and a half.
Yeah, it should be a fun one, folks, as we go ahead and go over your results of qualifying. Yeah, we got David Elliott starting on the pole position. TJ DeBlasi going to be in second. Alex Brown in third. And Ed Morris running really well there in fourth. Robert Colgan's going to be in fifth. Justin Limke sixth. Matt Greathouse in, who's Matt? Oh, that's why it's all jacked up on my end. Dennis Weeks in fifth. Justin Limke in sixth. Mike Franklin in seventh. Bill Hull in eighth. Ray Smith, and starting outside row 5 is going to be Chaston Teets.
Yeah, inside row 6, in the 11th position, Jeremy Knapp. Outside row 6, Sebastian Taylor. On your 7th row, we have Jason Brewer and Matthew Greathouse. 8th row will be Brian Wasserman and Rob Rogers. 9th row is Robert Colgan and Kevin Franks. And the 10th row is Ed Morris Sr. And your field is rounded off by Corey Danielson.
Yeah, so really fast times here. Everybody within about half a second, other than those that didn't start, as the green or the checkered flag is out for the warm up. They're going to get out on the track shortly. Let's talk about. Why don't we talk about the race we had last week at the Milwaukee Mile short track racing? Dennis Weeks pulls it out in the last minute based on strategy. Fantastic run.
Yeah, a lot of green flag racing there. Dennis Weeks won the race leading 35 laps, but our most led of that race was Alexander Brown with 46 laps led. He finished in second, and our podium was finished off by the third of David Elliott.
Yeah, it definitely is. We're gonna go get everything ready here shortly. That's Dennis Weeks there in that 97 Autism Speaks car, having a really good season. Getting that was his first win last week.
That was his second win
Yeah.
here. I'll go ahead and give you his stats. He is in first of our standings, has 2 wins, 4 top 5s, 4 top 10s, and only 9 incidents on the season here. It's a very, very clean 97 machine of Dennis Weeks. And let's go ahead and round out your top 3 of the standings. Ed Morris is in second, followed by Alexander Brown in third. So the top 3 have been dominant all season. Just about every race, those 3 have been battling for the lead, James.
Yeah, definitely. We talked to him a bunch all the time after these races, and I'm sure we're gonna do the same here as we already got Alex Brown, Ed Morris, Dennis Weeks, all these guys that are finishing up top. They're in the top 5, and track position is gonna be so important here at Vegas. Not really an easy place to pass. It's kind of a progressive banking situation, but not really enough to help anything on the short track. You think?
Yeah, gonna need a lot of tire wear, tire saving, that is. We have 3 additional sets of tires and 75% fuel, James. I think this could be more of a strategy race than we saw last time at Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, definitely. Fuel's going to be a factor. It's 120 laps here as we are about to go green out of 3 and 4. Let's get everybody on the radio. Make sure they got all their lines clear, all the belts buckled. Let's go, folks. David Elliott going to bring him around on the pole position. Coming out of turn 4. As that pace car is going to take the hard left turn onto pit road here shortly. And we are racing, folks. David Elliott taking a huge jump on the inside, able to get rolling in that prime time 42 Chevrolet. Everybody else gets a really good jump behind him, kind of leveling it out. A couple cars loaded back in there. Justin Limke in 7th. Nick Franklin already making some moves. Dennis Weeks trying to hold that 5th place position. Pretty much what you'd expect early on in the race, Tanner. Everybody trying to cement their place in line, make sure they're not going to lose their position.
Yeah, TJ DeBlassie actually already lost a position on the high line on the restart. He was on the outside, got caught lacking by the 67 of Alex Brown. Alex Brown shot to the inside right after the start-finish line, and here we are.
So here we are, and of course, back in the back, Colgan and that Great House have some work to do. They are going to be trying to get past the 20 of Jeremy Knapp if they're going to be able to. Because this is a treacherous part of the track to try and pass it in these turns. As that high line is going to keep developing the more that these tires wear away. There's Brian Wasserman with some issues jumping to the pits there.
Yeah, James, we're taking a look at that 51 machine of Matthew Greathouse in 14th place. He is right where he started, but if you look right in front of him, Robert Colgan up 4 positions, your current hardest charger, that 94 machine there, going into turn 3 at this beautiful Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex Brown behind him and TJ DeBlassie really on that back bumper. He's got stuck on the high line. We saw how detrimental that could be. Running through Ed Morris, Dennis Weeks there. I'm pretty good to say his name a lot here, so he has prevailed in these shorter tracks. Mike Franklin, Justin Limke, Bill Holt, Ray Smith, Chastain, all these guys battle. We got a little battle here for the 11th position. That's the 37 of Sebastian Taylor, getting passed by Jason Brewer. This is what we're going to see, folks. We're going to see people pair up, taking each other one-on-one. Kind of a battle of attrition in these ARCA cars, like you said earlier.
Yeah, Jason Brewer just set the fastest lap of the race here, a 30.36 on that last lap whenever he passed Sebastian Taylor. So up 2 positions at 34 machine. Beautiful job making that pass. Hopefully he saves enough tire here. Sebastian Taylor almost into the wall out of turn 4.
Yeah, pushing that car as far as it can to try and keep that spot. So I wonder if drafting's going to come into play. Really long backstretch here at Las Vegas. Get a little bit of a draft, a little bit of a tow coming into turn 3, but you better be ready to back it down, or what happened to Sebastian Taylor is going to happen to you as we go back up to 5th place. And then Morris has his hands full.
Yeah, he's under attack from that 97 of Dennis Weeks and the 82 of Mike Franklin. The top 6 here not that far strung out. Only about a second and a half from 6th to 1st. And David Elliott is running away right here, as we did see him on the pole. So short run speed for that 42 machine. Hopefully the 7, 97, and 82 can keep up here in the long run.
Definitely. Well, let's go ahead and just while we got everybody kind of chilled out here, take a quick commercial break. Just until everybody kind of gets a little racy, and we'll see you guys back. All right, folks, we are back here at lap 12 of 120. Not too much going on other than the movement of, I believe it was, check real quick, Ed Morris and Robert Colgan. A lot of movement done, 4 spots respectively, but David Elliott has gotten this lead and he's not letting it go.
Yeah, David Elliott stretched it out about 4/10 from the time we left to the time we came back. 4/10 there. David Elliott up 1.3 seconds over Alex Brown. But that is Ed Morris Sr., mind you, James, down there in 19th place. We have Ed Morris and Ed Morris Sr. Ed Morris up here in the top 6. Dennis Weeks on the inside of TJ DeBlasi making a move in turns 1 and 2.
Oh, slow and methodical as the 82 gets up into the 78 a little bit. Mike Franklin playing that one a little close to the chest. Wow, that was almost bad, but that high line just gets so much momentum. Dennis Weeks having a hard time pulling that pass off. Finally was able to, and the 78 does not want to happen again. He's going to come down and stop Mike Franklin with everything he's got. This is the battle for third, folks. 3-car battle. As Alex Brown is in second right now, but David Elliott has checked out. He's got about a 2.5 second gap ahead of these folks.
Yeah, we're just 15 laps into this race, and they're already racing like it's 10 to go. Mike Franklin to the inside of TJ DeBlasi rides up the track here on the exit of turn 4. Gonna stay on that inside line. TJ gets a run going to the start-finish line. He's got about a car length gap.
So much confidence that these drivers have in each other here at the Maestro's Classic ARCA Series. You can just see that as we take a look here. I want to see Ed Morris's view of what we got going on here. Go on the nose of Ed Morris. That Mission 2282 machine really trying to make it stick underneath. Man, it's so hard. I didn't think this was going to be a multi-lane track, but that top lane kind of holding its own here.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that inside line was going to be good until that outside line got rubbered up around lap 30 or 40. But here we are, lap 17, multi-groove racing, and not really one has the advantage over the other. If you get a good run on the inside, same as you get a good run on the outside, nothing happens there, James. Mike Franklin at the start-finish line here, leading that battle of 4th place, that is. Ed Moore's all the way to the apron, and down in 1 and 2, he's to the inside of TJ DeBlasi. He's going to send it in, but TJ is going to have a run here. He's going to let him have it, though.
Yeah, we'll see if he's working on some kind of switch-up. Otherwise, he might just be trying to not blow out the tires, waiting for these guys to get by. A lot of race left, lot of situations that can develop. But let's go back here to Ray Smith, our second of 3 Canadians here in the group with us, trying to gain position on Justin Limke, who's doing pretty well. They're about to catch TJ DeBlasi, who's falling back, that 78 that we talked about earlier. Kind of falling back there as we looked ourselves into a battle for 4th. Ed Morris trying to make his way past Mike Franklin.
Yes, TJ DeBlasi's falling back on tire wear as part of that battle. It looks like Ed Morris and Mike Franklin are stabilizing. And somebody that pulled away from that 4th place battle is your 3rd place driver of the 97 of Dennis Weeks. He is now only a half a second behind our 2nd place car here. His car is starting to grip up and take these turns like no other, James.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in that open air, you get all the air that you can put on that spoiler, get all the advantages that you can have to try and use to your advantage to really plant that car, and that's what he's able to do. As we take a look back at Jason Cooper, we talked about him, he's moving up, he's got Ray Smith in front of him, and trying to find Justin Limke lacking, but I don't think he's going to. These guys, everybody's pretty settled out. Lap times very similar. The only outlier I really see is Matt Greathouse. He's really putting down some fast laps recently. So in a little bit of a battle earlier, but he's flying right now.
Yeah, Bill Hull and Chaston Teets are going back and forth here as I'm watching this SDK go up and down. The 8 and 29 battling lap in and lap out. The 8 of Chaston Teets on the inside coming out of 4 at the start-finish line. He's got about a half a car length gap over Bill Hull here, James.
Amazing how advanced these guys are. It's just in front of him, that battle we were talking about. Matt Greyhouse trying to work on Sebastian Taylor. Grab Jason Brewer. Yeah, everybody kind of just poking out onesies and twosies, trying to make something happen, get a little bit of run as we see the 21 go 27, get a little bit out of shape there. We're going to see more of that as the longer this race goes on.
Yeah, tire wear here, that means that the longer they go, the less grip they have, James. So they're going to try to send it in here. It's not going to stick, just going to ride up the wall or get loose, as we saw Sebastian Taylor lose his grip coming out of turn 4.
Definitely. That's once they decide to start coming down pit road, with the times that it is right now on 23 laps, you've got to think that it's going to be a come when everybody else does situation. Everybody right now within about 7 seconds of the leader in the top 10, 6 seconds, and about 2 seconds separating their fastest lap from what they're running right now. So keep an eye on somebody to come down pit road. I'm not thinking now, probably, what do you think, lap 40, 45, they usually break these up into stop races.
Yeah, at least 35, if not 45 here, within a 10-lap window, I'd say, James, if it goes green here, which it has so far. Is Ray Smith here looking to pass the 35 of Justin Lemke into turn 3, single file. Jason Brewer following right behind that 16 machine. They are single file here, fighting for that 7th position.
And just remind you guys, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure and let us know what you think of the show. Let us know who you're driving, who you want to watch. We got to give those guys a little bit extra screen time for that, so we do appreciate that. Pulling here, it looks like Alex Brown and Dennis Weeks kind of catching up to each other. That second place car that was pretty elusive, now not so much.
And they're actually reeling in that 42 machine of David Elliott, who we saw get a ginormous, almost 2-second lead at the beginning of this race. And now Alexander Brown falling back, but Dennis Weeks and Ed Morris pouncing on the bit. David Elliott has led all 27 laps here tonight at Las Vegas. A very dominant first quarter of this race. Not even a quarter of this race, about 15% of this race done here as Dennis Weeks makes a move to the inside of Alexander Brown into turn 1. The 97 down low, the 67 up high. Ed Morris in the 7 following behind. Dennis Weeks has to let out of it just a little bit as he's riding up the track here. Tire wear coming in play, James.
Definitely tire wear coming into play. We talked about it. We're going to talk about it all season, especially with racing. It's such a huge deal. These guys are going back and forth, absolutely throttling each other there for third. Man, these guys in their rush have caught Alex Brown, and also the gap to the leader has shrunk a little bit as these guys are fighting.
Yeah, Dennis Weeks falling victim to Ed Morris there on the high line. Ed Morris getting a little squirrely out of turn 4. We'll see if he keeps it together in turn 2. So on the back stretch we go, single file, 67, 7, and a 97. Oh my goodness, that is a triplet of 7s in their number there, James.
Yeah, then you get 82 of Mike Franklin, followed by the 78 of TJ DeBlasi, Jason Brewer in 7, Justin Lemke in 30, and then the 35 car, Ray Smith and Matt Greathouse round out your top 10.
And Bill Hull actually fell behind about 4 spots since we last looked at him. Back there in 15th. Maybe possibly burned up his tires, but I was looking forward to him coming up to the front. I've seen him multiple times this season drive up to the front late in the race. But Justin Lemke right here in 8th position, still controlling that 16 and 51 behind him. But he's got to make his car about 3 car lengths wide on these straightaways to keep the 16 and 51 behind him. They are saving some tire.
Definitely they are, as we go ahead and take a look up there again. This battle for second now, 3-car battle for second. Absolutely interesting decision here to fight for it. But I love it. I love seeing them fight for it here with it's that 90 laps to go in the race, and these guys are putting everything on the line. Of course, everybody up here has a win, I believe, so they can put it all out on the line right now.
David Elliott does not have a win as far as I'm aware here. So our leader is the only one without a win in this top 4. Alexander Brown does not have a win. He just has 4 top 5s.
Hey, looking for a 5th, it seems like.
Yeah, Ed Morris here on the outside of that 67 machine. He is now in second place, 1.4 seconds behind our leader, David Elliott. Ed Morris has now shown Dennis Weeks what he needs to do. He needs to get on that outside. Dennis Weeks going to look to the inside here at the start-finish line. Alex Brown under attack on the inside.
Yeah, this battle heating up. Then we got another battle here. TJ DeBlasi and Matt Greathouse. They're in 8th position. This gaggle trying to get up there. As you see up top, Dennis Weeks and Alex Brown just fighting all over the place. We're going to see, can Dennis Weeks keep it down there? That's what's going to be the problem this late in the race. I don't know. That's going to be rough.
And if he can't keep it down there, it might end his and Alexander Brown's race. But he's going to send it in deep in turns 1 and 2. Gets a bumper gap in between him and Alexander Brown. Going to do a little Cupid shuffle to the left. We go in turn 3.
See Jason Brewer, TJ DeBlasi, and Justin Lemke now still battling it out. But look at Bill Hull trying to make his way. He lost a ton of positions on the start, down 7 so far, but trying to make a move on Kevin Franks and Robert Colgan. Wonder what's going on with him, if he's going to be able to get back out there, and if anything happens, he's going to make a run.
Hopefully he does here. TJ DeBlasi almost takes himself out by blocking that 35 machine of Justin Lemke. Followed behind is Ray Smith in that 16 machine. TJ is messing with fire and water here, blocking on older, worn-out tires. He was not able to save, and he's battling for that 6-car pack at the beginning of this race. And Justin Lemke is going to fall victim to Ray Smith. Ray Smith takes him on the inside out of turns 4. As David Elliott is still out to the lead, but it's only by 3/4 of a second. TJ DeBlasi here in 8th position under attack by Justin Lemke. He is going to maintain his position here for now at lap 38. I say pit road should open up here within the next 2 to 10. I say 2 to 10 laps is when everybody will be pitting here. Roughly 45 laps here. TJ DeBlasi in 8th place, followed by Justin Lemke, and Ray Smith is in 10th. So 3-car battle here as Ray Smith touches the wall in turn 1, just barely glances it. But Jason Brewer is pulling away here in that 7th position. In front of him is Matthew Greathouse. And then we have your 5th place position of Mike Franklin. But Ed Morris is down to 3/10 of a second lead here. Ed Morris is closing the gap. He is about to catch David Elliott. If we could take a look at Ed Morris just took the lead. On the inside, David Elliott lets him go. Ed Morris was able to save a lot of tire here. And James, before the race, he actually mentioned to us that he was going to be quick. And here we take a look in turns 3 and 4. He's to the inside. David Elliott falls victim. That is actually turns 1 and 2. Ed Morris all the way to the lead from that 5th position that we saw him running earlier in this race. Lap 41, we have 2 takers on pit road. Alex Brown and Mike Franklin. They were running inside the top 5 there, pitting on lap 41. Ed Morris is still in the lead. He's got about a 4/10 of a second lead over David Elliott, followed behind about a second and a half is Dennis Weeks. Dennis Weeks passes David Elliott. David Elliott down pit road. So we have 3 top 5 cars down pit road. Jason Brewer follows as well. And Ray Smith, Chaston Teets. We have a lot of takers on pit road here. Multiple cars, at least 4 cars on lap 42. So we know they can at least go 41, 42 laps. Maybe even more than that. Ed Morris saved his stuff, so he may go to lap 43, lap 44. But Dennis Weeks still about a second and a half behind Ed Morris. as we're taking a look at Jason Brewer, Chaston Teets, Ray Smith, David Elliott, all on pit road. Alex Brown and Mike Franklin were your first to come down pit road. Other than Robert Colgan and Bill Hull, they both came down on lap 37 and 38. Alex Brown and Franklin came down on lap 40.
Yeah, Ed Morris being able to stay out there with the lead is going to be huge for a little bit. We talked about earlier with the pitting and with the fall off that these guys are going to have. It's going to be so important for them to not stay out too late. As we see Ed Morris and Dennis Weeks coming in, we'll see if TJ DeBlasi decides to as well. He does. Only taker, but the only person not taking it, looks like it's going to be Kevin Franks down this time as well.
Yeah, everyone down pit road here. So we got about a 44-lap fuel window, James, as we're taking a look at the battle for the lead. Alex Brown, David Elliott, Matthew Greathouse, Jason Brewer, and Chaston Teets are your top 5 right now as it cycles. But we do have a few drivers coming out of pit road as we speak.
Definitely. So this is the battle. David Elliott and Alex Brown right now side by side here. This past Kevin Franks, but Ed Morris able to get out. We'll see if he's going to be able to get up to speed safely. I don't think he do. They're catching him way too quickly. The short pit strategy working out just in time to get by. That's going to be Alex Brown and David Elliott.
Yeah, perfect timing for Alex and David there, catching Ed Morris as he's coming up to speed. David Elliott has the best car on the short run, and it looked like Ed Morris has the best long run. So all Alex Brown here is asking to stay consistent. As long as he stays consistent, I guarantee you Alexander Brown will be a huge part of this battle for the lead at the end of this race. But Ed Morris going to save some tire, falling back here by about a second from our leader.
Definitely Ed Morris trying to get back up there. He's got about 3-lap fresher tires. We'll see how that matters. And we did see that he was...
Changing the face of the world doesn't happen overnight. It takes a strong group like no other, each containing unique characteristics, ones that inspire change and progress. To be a maestro is to lead, to inspire, and to create, helping shape both communities and industries. Changing the face of the world doesn't happen alone. It happens with strong leaders, ones that defy all odds. The first generation of barber maestros helped create the movement. The second will define it.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that was a word from your league sponsors. As we went away, Ed Morris got his lead back from David Elliott and even passed Alexander Brown. So Ed Morris is now your leader as we come to lap 52 out of 120. We are oh so close to 50% here. Ed Morris dominant after this rubber is laid down. He's getting the hang of this track. David Elliott falling behind just a little bit, but he is not losing any sort of ground on Ed Morris. Alexander Brown is losing a lot of ground, not able to keep up with Ed Morris's pace here. And they don't even have that old of tires. They have about 10-lap old tires, 12 laps that is, and David Elliott's falling back. 0.4 of a second now Ed Morris has on your second place of David Elliott. As we take a look at Ray Smith, he's almost got Chaston Teets here for this position of 8th place. Sorry there, just had a little bit of confusion. But Chaston Teets has maintained inside the top 7 all night. Ray Smith looking to follow right behind him. Justin Lemke is right behind him. We're single file throughout this whole entire field here. As your first place is Ed Morris. We'll go through this field while we have a little bit of green flag around, James. Ed Morris, David Elliott in 2nd, Alexander Brown in 3rd, Dennis Weeks in 4th. We have Jason Brewer in 5th. Matthew Greathouse in 6th, Ray Smith in 7th, Justin Lumpke is in 8th, Ninth place is Chaston Teets, and rounding out your top 10 is Robert Colgan. As we'll take a look at Jason Brewer here, who is tied for our hardest charger. Jason Brewer and Matthew Greathouse, 5th and 6th place, both up 8 positions from where they started. So this top 5 is doing nothing but excite the atmosphere. We have 55 laps in the books, and this has been nothing but clean racing. 0 yellows. Ed Morris has now taken here at managing his tires, but he's still pulling away. So we'll see if on the long run he has that same speed that he did earlier in the race. Jason Brewer all the way to the wall in turn 4 at the start finish line as we are on lap 57. And we see just in the distance of that in the striking zone, the giving him room whenever he's sending in there on old tires.
As we are working behind the scenes trying to get this frame rate up for you guys, found a little bit of a fix. There's Alex Brown said in 3rd place right now on Dennis Weeks. As David
has nothing for him into turn 1. That Autism Speaks machine takes 3rd position. Now he's hunting down that 42 of David Elliott.
Yeah, looking a little bit downfield here. We got Robert Colgan up 6th position. He is trying to find Sebastian Taylor, and he's got Bill Hull in tow. We talked about Bill a little bit earlier, having a little bit of issues early on, able to come back from those and get a little bit better showing here.
Yeah, 2 laps ago, we crossed the halfway point, so less than that we're looking at will happen around lap 80. So within the next 18 laps.
Sure.
Alrighty, as we'll take a look at the front of our field here. We'll let James figure that out. Ed Morris is your leader. 1.5 seconds behind is David. It's sideways, and at the start finish line, he has straightened it out. Bill 3/10, so Bill Hull becoming another factor almost inside the top 10. Robert Colgan. That green flag stop when he pitted about 4 laps earlier. As Ed Morris is in turn 3, coming to turn 4. He is going to come across lap 64 here, James.
Yeah, coming on. We appreciate you guys trying to stick with us on YouTube. We're having issues with YouTube. I don't know what the deal is there, but you can catch us on Facebook. / I believe it's Sim Racing Media connection over there, but we might have figured it out, folks. We're working. Let's see, Bill Hull, like we talked about earlier, he's made his way past Jeremy Knapp. Not many people here who are outliers. Everybody seeming to are getting to the bottom of Bill Hull. They're switching it up. As you can see, your top 10 over there. Ed Morris, David Elliott, Ray Smith, Chaston Teets, and Sebastian Taylor there.
And Sebastian Taylor up 2 positions from where he started here in 10th place. A solid top 10 run here on this Motorsports. Beautiful paint scheme we've seen each and every week here.
I know Auburn's a sore subject for you right now. Oh boy, as Robert Colgan, Jeremy Knapp, and Bill Hull follow him up. Really good group of guys here running like run. These guys able to really keep it clean and race each other really well here. We love to see it. Of course, that is Ed Morris in that number 7 machine, the leader, 85 probably. If you're short pitting, you can come in, 79?
Looking at this relative here, James, and within the past 5 laps, Ed Morris has gained a half of a second over David Elliott. So I don't know if Ed Morris is biting the bullet, shooting that bullet away and giving everything he's got, or is David Elliott trying to pull a Ed Morris and save tire for the long run? So lost 2 positions since this pit cycle 3.
Yep. So here, as we see Jeremy Knapp, kind of our only driver other than Rob Rogers in 16th that hasn't moved around a lot. Stayed pretty consistent. Running very consistent.
Junior is back in this thing. He has a fresh set of tires though, so that is why he is catching them. He is in the mix of the 2nd place. Dennis Weeks going to have to work to the inside of Mr. Senior. David Elliott going to pull a pick on that 14 machine. Dennis Weeks still not able to get in front of the 42, but as we look at it, the 14 dive bombs to the inside of the 42. Dennis Weeks at the start-finish line has that 2nd place position there, James.
And this is a battle for 2nd, too. So this is it's important for these guys, but yes, he is. But they're just going to see what those tires look like. He last came in his lap 65, so he's 4 laps down. So that's probably around lap 70. Doing a good.
He gained about a 10th 2 laps ago, and here he is running equivalent lap times within 500ths of our leader. So not really gaining any time. Dennis Weeks has stalled out his run, and as I say that, he just gained a 10th that lap.
There you go. That's definitely going to be helpful if you take a look back here. Jeremy Knapp trying to hold off Sebastian Taylor on the high side. We're going to want to go over a little bit of points situation. Look that up for me and see where we're at after 5 races of this season, which I think it's a shorter season, so every race matters.
Yeah, it looks like they've only got 4 races here in the books of the standings, but Dennis Weeks in first at 211 points. 2nd place is Ed Morris at 209 points. Alexander Brown in 3rd, 206 points. Matthew Greathouse, 4th place, 183 points. Chaston Teets in 5th position with 180 points. 6th place in the standings, Sebastian Taylor, 172 points. Robert Colgan is in 7th with 170 points. Jason Brewer has 166 points in 8th place. 9th place is that 29 of Bill Hull, 165 points. And rounding out your top 10 is your 3rd place car right now, dominating the short run of this race, David Elliott in 10th with 160 points.
Definitely. As we were going through on those drivers. Robert Colgan actually came down pit road on lap 77, so I don't know if he's going to be 2 laps down. I wonder if he's got an issue with that car that he's trying to fix, or trying out the short pit here. I don't think they go 2 laps down for a normal pit cycle, so definitely interesting.
Well, remember, he did pit on lap 37, so he was getting right at the end. 43 laps is what we saw them go in that first run. So that adds up perfectly. Short pitted on that first time and ran 43 laps, and there he was on lap 80.
Definitely just battle. DJ de Blasi is not having the race that he wanted to have. Down 10 positions. I feel like he's been battling to keep his positions pretty much for the entire race, since he's now passed Sebastian Taylor, getting a little bit back on him, but man, he's been fighting the whole race. Not only him, Bill Hull is another one who has been absolutely slugging it out with drivers, trying to get to a position where he can make something happen. So he's going to be the first one, other than Robert Colgan, to come down for the short pit. We'll see if it works.
That is correct here. Pitting on lap 82, Bill Hull. That gives him about 38 laps on a fuel run here, so they are good to make it from here on out. The window is open, James. Who will come down short and who will come down long? I would say Ed Morris is best by staying out as long as he possibly can and hoping for maybe a late race caution and have as many cars a lap down as possible. But Dennis Weeks there in 2nd. He is in the best position to shortcut this and try to gain some time. If he pits within the next lap or 2, he may gain a 2nd or so, and that will be very huge for him and Ed Morris.
Yeah, he only needs to stay out 2 laps later, I'm sorry. Boy. 2 laps earlier than Ed Morris, and he's going to break that up. So we'll see if it happens. Ed Morris, though, he really can take destiny into his own hands. He's got 3 seconds behind Dennis Week and 6 to Alex Brown. So he's got a lap where he can come through and see that they're going in or win in the previous lap and make plans to come in the next lap all by himself, really in a good position. Because what you don't want to be caught here like he is right now, getting passed by cars. That's just more problems that can happen for you if those fresher tires are out there speeding by you trying to get their lap back.
Or if you could look at it another way, if there's a late race caution, which there may not be, but that's more cars on the lead lap that could fight him if he was in a wreck or something. So that's a position that he could lose. So if you're Ed Morris, you don't want that many cars on the lead lap.
Definitely, as Alex Brown was their closest competitor that came in. He just came down pit road. Jason Brewer as well. Matt Greathouse, Sebastian Taylor. And Corey Danielson, but I'm hearing that the 78 is going to be coming down pit road soon, as well as Ed Morris. Ed Morris going to be coming down pit road.
Yeah, down out of turn 4, that 7 machine coming down on the pit road, very, very smooth with it. He is going to slow it down to pace, pit road speed, and in front of him is the 68 machine of Rob Rogers, last car on the lead lap by about a car length.
There you go, as Justin Lemke's going to stay out for now. Oh, no, he's coming down. Man, no one really trying to test this to try and get it going a little bit longer. I guess, you know, if you're waiting this long, you got to think that everybody that you just passed, even if you put them a lap down, they're going to get the wave around. So really nobody hurt in the grand scheme of things. So you can't be thinking about, oh, I'm going to trap the whole field down because they're just going to get their wave. But Ed Moore's doing it right. Closest person that's not in the pits is David Elliott, who's 40 seconds back. So he's going to have a commanding lead coming out of the pits here. As Dennis Weeks has a poor pit road, it took about 2 seconds longer than the average. David Elliott's going to come around on the outside and try to get as close as he can to Ed.
Yeah, and Ed Morris is not at speed, so David Elliott, well, he is at speed now, but he was not whenever David Elliott was coming out of turn 2, so David
All right, folks, we are back at onboard Robert Colgan, who's up 7 positions so far in that Colgan Enterprises 94 machine. But David Elliott has now got Dennis Weeks on his tail for second.
That is correct, James. If you'll go ahead and switch that over to intervals on that. Dennis Weeks has closed the gap. It was 2 seconds last time that we looked at it. And now, our battle for second just heated up, cooked, and now it is pulled over. Dennis Weeks in second.
Yeah.
Paint job there, that black and blue.
That chassis teats that there in that Mopar. One of the only Mopars I've seen in the Dodge paint scheme there. And behind him, Jason Brewer and Justin Lemke are on the move, trying to get to him. I love that lime green of the 304 or the 34 of Jason Brewer. Trying to get to the back bumper of Chasten Teets. Wonder once he gets there, what's he going to be able to do with it? That's the thing. As long as Chasten is blocking that low line, if he can. But I don't know if he can. He's got 10, probably 3 lap older tires.
Yeah, Jason Brewer looking to the inside, but he's under attack by Justin Lemke. So into turn 3 we go. Jason Brewer on the inside. As you mentioned, Chasten Teets has 3 lap older tires than both of these drivers right here. Justin Lemke has the freshest tires. He pitted on lap 86 as he's making it 3 wide for this battle for 6th position. Justin Lemke to the inside of Chasten Teets. Jason Brewer on the inside. They are side by side now, James.
Give it to the bottom for now, but that run on the outside cannot be ignored. Justin Lemke going to take away that position for 6th place. What a little battle that popped up there, as it's not over. Chasten Teets wants some of Jason Brewer, but it's going to be hard to come by. That lost a lot of momentum having to go to that bottom pretty much for an entire lap. We'll see if that works out for him, as we got Ray Smith back there tonight. Nova Scotia. Robert Colgan, we talked about him earlier, up 7 positions, but TJ, that's a lap car actually. Looks like Corey Danielson there behind him, trying to get something happening there. He's had to pit in extra time, some issues going on in that 17 machine.
Yeah, Jeremy Knapp in that 20 machine in 12th position from Vicksburg, Michigan. Jeremy Knapp, awesome job here tonight. 12th position. He's holding his own here. And James, I don't know about you, but right behind him is Bill Hull, who's been struggling all night. But this season, he's been dominant on mile and a half.
Yeah, I don't know if there was an issue earlier on. His lap times really aren't there, so possibly just a little issue with not liking the track. We've all been there. Las Vegas is an interesting, kind of a cookie cutter 1.5, but a lot tighter turns because these straightaways are a little bit longer. So it's an odd shape here at Vegas, but yeah, Bill Hull doing what he's been doing really well, and that's just staying consistent, getting out on the track. 13th's not a bad place to finish points-wise here in the Maestro's Classic NASCAR ARCA Series.
Yeah, and as we are looking at these 12th and 13th position cars, Ed Morris is doing nothing but gaining on his lead. Up to 4.2 seconds he has the lead over Dennis Weeks, and another 1.5 seconds back to David Elliott for 3rd position, James. As we take a look, Ed Morris on lap 105 has increased his lead from 2 seconds to 4 seconds after that pit cycle.
Definitely. Another one who started in the back. He's an old-timer of Simmers. I like it. Started in the back, up 4 positions so far, so just eking away there. Taking a good points run in that 98 machine. We've got Rob Rogers trying to catch up behind him, as that is the 51. Matt Greathouse about to put the 68 lap down. Him. Corey Danielson, Ryan Wasserman, and Ed Morris Sr. out there putting some laps down. Sebastian Taylor has taken it to the hauler, as well as Mike Franklin. The issues with the PR, I think, early on. Came out, ran some laps, and got back in the hauler, taking it home. But yeah, up front now, Ed Morris having to deal with some lap traffic. We talked about it. That's Bill Hull in the 29 machine. Not going to make it easy for him. You still got to work to try and get by.
Yeah, as long as he holds his line here, Ed Morris will go right on by. Actually, I eat my words here. Bill Hull sticks to his quarter panel out of turn 4. This is a lap car, everybody. He's fighting to stay on that lead lap in case there is a late race caution. So, Bill Hull doing a heck of a job sticking to Ed Morris's quarter panel on the exit. Ed Morris able to sling it down in there, as he had about 6 lap newer tires than that machine of Bill Hull.
Definitely. You see here, I think everybody else has pretty much made up their mind. Chasten Teets trying to make it to the back of Jason Brewer. He's got enough time. 11 laps to go here. Roughly 5 minutes of racing in the final stretch. Nobody needs to pit. Everybody should be ready to rock here to line it out. And just look at that gap that Ed Morris has in the field. I don't think anybody's touched him, barring something crazy happening, but definitely Jason Brewer and Chasten Teets. This battle's not over yet.
Yeah, this battle is only heating up for 7th position. Chasten Teets ran just about a half-tenth slower than Jason Brewer. So Jason Brewer able to pull away here from that Mopar machine that we see behind him in the distance. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, with 10 to go, Jason Brewer is in 7th place, but Ed Morris has that demanding lead, 3.8 seconds, as we saw him just past the 29 of Bill Hull as we were away from the lead. Bill Hull is now behind him by about 3.5, 4 car lengths, so 9 to go. Ed Morris slowly ticking down these laps, and if I'm Ed, I'm going to take this as slow as possible without making a mistake. Excuse me, as smooth as possible. Don't want to lose any speed here. Just don't try to push your boundaries and run very, very smooth laps. And this race is yours. You don't have to pit. He's set to go. He pitted with about 34 laps to go, and you can make it on a tank with about 44 laps. So he is set to go here. Ed Morris in the driver's seat for the lead with 8 to go, ticking down these laps. Dennis Weeks followed behind by 3.8 seconds, and behind him at 6.6 seconds is David Elliott. So your top 4 has been consistent all night. They just swap positions here every time that they have pit cycles. So Ed Morris showing up and being a man of his words at the beginning of this race. Like I've already said, he said that he was confident here tonight, and he is doing nothing but showing it. A dominant performance here. He has not floated outside of the top 3 other than pit cycles. So he was inside the top 5 at the beginning of this race, and now he is showing that he has the potential to win this race. 7 to go, onto the backstretch we go. That beautiful Primetime Motorsports Camaro into turn 3. Behind him we have a battle for lap cars. That's the 77 of Brian Wasserman and the 29 of Bill Hull. They are not on the same lap, unfortunately. Brian Wasserman is on lap 110 and Bill Hull is on lap 112. So they are not on the same lap here. Just a battle for position on the track, not position. Oh,
look at David Elliott. Alex Brown has hit the loud pedal. He's kind of catching David Elliott by about 0.2 of a second for third. So this is heating up, as well as Chasten Teets trying to catch Jason Brewer. That has gapped out a little bit. Jeremy Knapp is about 0.8 away from Robert Colgan, but David Elliott has caught the draft, or Alex Brown, I'm sorry, has caught the draft of David Elliott. This is going to be something to watch here, folks, as this battle heats up in front of our eyes with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, this is for your last podium position. 5 to go. Alexander Brown has 1 lap newer tires than David Elliott, but did David take enough care of his tires to hold off Alex? Last lap, Alex ran a 1/10 faster than David Elliott. So, very interesting to see here. With 5 to go, can he make up a 0.2 of a second gap? Not only can he catch him, can he pass him, James? We know how difficult that can be on older tires. It's easy to catch somebody, but the question is, how easy is it to pass somebody?
Definitely. How easy is it to pass here, especially when he's going to use a lot of his stuff trying to get up to the back of that bumper with 4 to go. Guys, if you're worried about Ed Morris, he's gone. He's got about a 4-second gap, almost 3.5 second on Dennis Weeks. But David Elliott, that's another story, as even Bill Hull is now getting caught, or trying to catch Kevin Franks, but that's shoot. As, man, this is going to be a battle coming down to 3 laps to go heading into turn 2.
Alexander Brown coming out of turn 2, last lap, he actually ran just a tad bit slower than David Elliott. So David Elliott able to hold his own here. But Alexander Brown's going to drop the wheels off this thing. Into turn 3 we go. The 42 looks just a little bit sideways on the exit of 4, all the way up to the wall and all the way back down to the apron here at the start-finish line. 2 to go. Ed Morris at Sayonara. And now we have Dennis Weeks in second, 3 seconds behind Ed Morris. And we are watching our battle for third. David Elliott driving the wheels off of this thing, getting away from Alexander Brown.
See if he's going to have enough time here. I don't see any lap traffic ahead of him that's going to matter, as we are 2 to go. But Ed Morris now taking the white flag in the air. He is going to be taking the victory lap a little bit early with a 3.5 second gap. But Dennis Weeks most likely going to be your second place finisher. He's got a 3 second gap between these folks. 2 guys trying to battle it out on the last lap. Alex Brown and David Elliott, we talked about it. And then Jeremy Knapp, this one's a little closer too, but we'll catch that after they get there. Jeremy Knapp trying to work on Kevin Franks for a position later on. They're going to come out of turns 3 and 4. Ed Morris has taken the checkered flag. David Elliott and Alex Brown still decided there. David Elliott going to bring it around in third. Dennis Weeks in second. Alex Brown in fourth. Matt Greathouse coming across the line in fifth. Justin Lemke, the last one. But look at Robert Colgan and Jeremy Knapp. These guys battling for position in 11th place. Jeremy going to try and get to the high line, get a run here. Takes it high. It's going to be, oh, it's going to be close, guys. Give it to Jeremy Knapp. Oh.
He rode the top line all the way out of turn 4 there, James. We have not seen anybody do that tonight. He was within inches of touching that outside wall, and he was actually setting it up for the start-finish line, side drafting that quarter panel. Aerodynamics in his favor there. Ed Morris burning it down on Las Vegas.
He goes right under the flag man there. Going to be giving the fans a show as we are just about done. Look at that Primetime Motorsports 7 car. I like it. Red on blue on black. Man, what a finish by, what a show by Ed Morris coming out here and showing everybody how to drive these things. Got gonna go over your results real quick here for you guys. It's Ed Morris has taken that thing in. We got, of course, Ed Morris and Dennis Weeks, David Elliott, your top 3. Alex Brown, Matt Greathouse in 5th. Justin Lemke in 6th. Jason Brewer 7th. Chasten Teets 8th. Ray Smith 9th. TJ DeBlasi in 10th. Jeremy Knapp in 11th. Robert Colgan 12th. Kevin Franks in 13th. Bill Hull in 14th. Rob Rogers 15th. 16th. Corey Danielson. 17th. Brian Wasserman. 18th, Ed Morris Sr., 19th, Sebastian Taylor, and 20th going to be Mike Franklin. What a battle there. What a show of skill that these guys had to come out here and go green the whole way.
That is correct, James, and we are ready for our top 3. I'll send in David Elliott right now for you.
All right, David, you got us?
Yeah, we got you, man.
Hey, man, first of all, congratulations on the 3rd place finish. Tell us about the battle of attrition that was this race and almost getting caught by Alex Brown there at the end.
Yeah, I'm really good here in the daytime when it's hot and slick. When it gets nighttime and cools down, the track just gets too tight, and I can't. I get too much right front wear, and I have to manage. Luckily, I was good enough there on pit stops to kind of undercut them a little bit on that last stop, and barely held on to for a third there.
Definitely. So talk about pit strategy. You had to come down a little bit early there on lap 83 where everybody else. Was the short pit there, or were they just too quick on the draw to catch you?
Nah, it really wasn't there. You got to really maintain your speed throughout the whole run, and that second run, I really killed my tires. I fell too far back, so that was my only shot of at least salvaging that top 3. Was just a short pit and kind of stay ahead and manage my stuff there, because it wouldn't look like we were going to get a caution.
Definitely. So tell us who you got on that beautiful 42 car and who you want to shout out to.
Yeah, thanks to Primetime Motorsports, Maestro's Beard Products, Xtreme Motorsports 99, and all you guys at ESBN. Thank y'all for what you do.
All right, appreciate you, David. Take it easy, sir. Hopefully, we'll talk to you next week.
Yep, thank you.
Alrighty, your second place is coming this way.
Fun time, guys.
Hey, Dennis, man, I feel like we're doing this weekly. Congratulations on the second place finish.
Yeah, thanks. I think that's a good way, though, right?
It is a good thing, brother. I'm giving you that good mojo when I send you off every week, telling you to come back and talk to us.
Appreciate it. Keep sending it.
So tell us about the race. Tell us about what you had. I know that first stint. That's really what I want to talk about. How you had to fight to get where you were, starting at 5th.
Yeah, and that hurt the tire wear, and Ed got around me, and then he pulled that second on me, and I could never get back to him. Second run, same thing. You know, they got back in front of me and had to fight him again, and then third run is just too late. So with no cautions, you know, those little seconds count everywhere around the track. So, I'll take it though. Ed's a beast on these 1.5 miles, so I got to figure something out.
Definitely. So the setup, how was it working for you on the long run, and were you expecting that coming in?
Everybody kept saying it was loose. I felt like it was pretty good. I mean, obviously, if you overdrive, it'll step out coming out the corner because of the wheel inputs. But I thought it was great. It gets a little tight towards the end of the run, but if you just back up the corner just a little bit, it straightens back out, and you take off. So great setup. iRacing actually did something right with that.
There you go, sir. Well, again, congratulations on the second place finish, and hopefully, first of all, tell us who you want to shout out. I know we got that Autism Speaks awareness that we love to hear about. Tell us about it.
Yeah, thanks for foremost for you guys broadcasting this year. It's nice talking to you guys as much as I can. Hopefully, it's every week. Thanks to Maestro's for sponsoring the ARCA series. Ed and GT for putting this thing together and letting us race. And yeah, outlaw racing, man. Autism Speaks. You know, run this for my son. So the more I can keep it on TV, the better.
Well, hopefully we'll talk to you next week, sir.
Yeah, have a great night.
Alrighty, James. I don't know if you'll take offense to this, but I'm taking Ed Morris here in Victory Lane at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Ed Morris, do you have a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Congratulations. You called your shot at the beginning of the race. I mentioned it 2 or 3 times during the race. You said you were very confident about this. And you mentioned not having speed at the beginning of this race, but in the long run, you were the most dominant car. Almost 5 seconds, 1 point, you had the lead, Ed. What were you strategizing at the beginning of this race? Were you going to stay out, or were you going to short pit?
No, once we got going, and then we was able to get back through and take the lead before that first pit stop. You know, I knew I had good long run speed, and from that point on, it was, you know, run or dry, and try to make as much time up on these guys as possible, and no mistakes on pit road. So that was a strategy, man.
Yeah, you did an awesome job of that. And which line were you most dominant in? We saw you in 2 different lines, and actually you were at a battle with Bill Hull for about 3 laps, and you were on the inside there. How scared were you were going to run up the track?
I was pretty comfortable. You know, I think Bill was on a little bit fresher tires than I was too. I was a little bit faster than he was, and he gave me the bottom, and you know, that's all I could expect him to do. So it was a little bit tighter on that bottom. So you just have to work the throttle a little bit more, but it was all good. The car felt good. Car was fast.
Exactly. You dominated this race, and I'll let you get your sponsors and shout-outs, and then we'll hear a word from James.
Appreciate it, man. I just want to give a shout-out to the team, Primetime Motorsports. Thank all those guys. We got a brand new paint job on the car tonight, so it's nice to take this nice looking ride to Victory Lane. I'd like to thank the series sponsor, Maestro's Classic. Thank you guys for all your support in sponsoring the ARCA series this season. We greatly appreciate it. And if you guys need some beard care, some beard oils, and you're into those kind of things, hair gel stuff, you know, go see those guys. They got a lot to offer. And then thank the admins, and thank you guys for broadcasting a heck of a show, man. I appreciate it.
Definitely.
All
We
right.
appreciate you, and hopefully we'll talk to you again next week, sir.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, Tanner, any final words for the broadcast here?
Yeah, James, one thing we did not mention all race, 120 green flag laps, not a single caution. Pat on the back to every single driver that logged into this race tonight, James.
Definitely. And that's something we're getting used to with these guys. So really good showing again. Good lap count. Good job on these guys. Hopefully we'll see it again. We are going to be off next week, but what do we got coming up after that, Tanner?
After that, James, you caught me off guard here. We're going to have Gateway Worldwide Technology Raceway on December 13th, ladies and gentlemen. You heard me. December 13th. We are taking next week off for both series on Monday and Tuesday night. So tune in December 13th for the next ARCA race, James. But tomorrow night, we have the Truck Series at Pocono Raceway, November 30th. So, ladies and gentlemen, tune back in. Angel will be in the production role here, James. And I want to once again, at the end of the show, like I always do, y'all should be used to this by now. Pat James on the back. He had some underlying issues today, and he fought through it during the broadcast, fixing it, letting me take over. So, everyone, Pat James on the back. Awesome job.
Well, for that, we're going to do it, folks. Appreciate you, Tanner. You knocked it out of the park every time. So I'll let you guys get out of here. As always, hopefully we will see you next week.